A guy named Jed Brewer, who you've actually got a couple of tunes of his here at the station. I mean, Jed's a brilliant writer. The Bridge, Chicago, which is a completely separate community or fellowship from Jesus People USA, which is, I'm on the pastoral team there, does all sorts of outreach to at-risk and former prisoners. And it's an area that a lot of times the church either doesn't know what to do or they're uncomfortable dealing with these folks. Well, we see lots of veterans who end up in Cook County Jail. I'm a chaplain down there as well, and I do a lot of prison ministry around the country. And, of course, at our Cornerstone Community Outreach, that's an outreach of Jesus People USA in Chicago. Cornerstone Community Outreach is a 480-bed homeless shelter. And a couple of people, Jeremy from CCO, myself, several of us have been asked to come and speak at the Bridge, which is a Tuesday night meeting that they have in a little church, African-American church, in one of the rougher areas of Chicago. Jed and their crew, are just, they're just living a very basic life and putting all the money and all the time and effort they can into ministry to these men and women. Well, because we see a lot of vets and also formerly incarcerated people or at-risk people in our shelter, and because when Jed met us and heard us speaking at the Bridge after they invited us over there, out of nowhere, I was like 10, 12 years later, Jed says, why don't we do a compilation project, lots of different styles of songs. I'm gonna give you a couple maybe you might consider of mine, which I loved. He knew I loved them. And said, how about you sing? How about you play some dobro? How about we'll have hip-hop on there, which I'm not involved in that song, but it's pretty cool. We're soldiers in God's Army, an old kind of a blues spiritual vibe. And let's take every penny and put that right into Cornerstone Community Outreach. Here's a ministry in Chicago who loves this other ministry and has just out of the blue said, we want to do a project where every bit of the proceeds from downloads of the songs from the Homes for Heroes Project and from the actual CDs, which I only have a handful with me, but I brought some out on tour, all that goes directly to CCO. They just regularly write little checks that help pay the bills. And we regularly have somewhere between 400 and 500 people in the shelter that we're helping to get out of the cycle of drug addiction, off the streets. And regularly, if you go to the Cornerstone Community Outreach site, regularly, I saw one this morning again, one more person who's housed, who used to be homeless. I'm going to say that on any given day, 30 or 40 or more % of these folks have been involved in military service. And they come back, and the issues of maybe abuse, maybe their marriage is caved in, maybe they couldn't hold a job, or diseases kick in and they lose hope. And many of these folks have never come to know the Lord. And so all of a sudden there's this connection and we're able to reach out and help people. And that's really what we're all about. That's what I'm all about, is trying to encourage people, to help people, and to help people directly.